This is 5 on your side at 10. Focused on you.
Tonight, a new look at the aftermath and the effort to rebuild in the bi-state after a series of devastating storms ripped through the region. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Bush. Perry County, Missouri is reeling after Friday night's powerful storms carved a destructive path through the region. The impact was widespread, with Perryville's elementary, middle, and high schools all sustaining significant damage. School officials have canceled classes for Monday and Tuesday as the community begins to assess and rebuild. Tonight, 5 on your side's Laura Barczewski takes us to the heart of the devastation.
The moment the storm left Perry County on Friday, the Perryville community hit the ground running, checking on neighbors.
Leaders lead, but the people do. And these people have always stepped up in any time of need to assist their family, assist their neighbors, assist someone they don't even know.
County crews assessed the extensive damage. Commissioner Mike Sauer says they believe it was the handiwork of a tornado.
It traveled all the way through the county, through the city of Perryville, out E Road, all the way to the Mississippi River. So it went approximately 10 miles of destruction.
The entire Perry County District 32 school campus was in that path. Windows were blown out, roofs peeled off, and walls collapsed, leaving a gaping hole in what looks to be someone's office.
We've had pretty well some damage to every building, but obviously it varies from building to building. High school and the old senior high were hit the hardest.
Just steps away from the school lives longtime Perryville resident Jody. The storm sucked the roof off of his house, and he thought he was going to go right along with it.
That's when the wind kicked in. And then the wind went circular. And after that, duck and hide.
Everything went up.
That hole, that's what went up. And I thought it was coming after me.
All of his things are destroyed and he has to find a new place to live, but Jody says he's thankful to be alive and for his friends that got him out as the water came rushing in.
But it was still blowing some rugged winds. We got in his truck, and the rest is history.
Across the street, Courtney Rayburn, her husband, and 1-year-old daughter hunkered down in the basement as the storm passed and came out to find their workshop garage ripped open, roof shredded, and even the window to their daughter's room blown out. But the community came together for them too.
We had like 25 to 35 people all at one time, and what would have taken us days took us an hour. It was incredible. The community that kind of rallied around us.
Reporting in Perryville, Laura Barczewski, 5 on your side.
And anyone needing assistance or even willing to help in Perry County can go to the Perry Park Center. That's tomorrow starting at 8 a.m. And they're asking all contractors going out to work to register there with the county to ensure no one is being scammed. New tonight, the Phelps County coroner tells us they found another victim of the storm. The county coroner says they found a 30-year-old man dead in his home. The coroner attributed the death to the storm and the use of a generator. This brings the death toll in Missouri to 13, with this being the first death in Phelps County. And just hours ago, Rolla Public Schools in Phelps County announced it's canceling classes for the week due to the storm damage. The district says it hopes to get kids back in school by the end of the month. However, officials are telling parents there may be significant changes to available classrooms, including services like heating and internet and after-school activities. We're getting a better sense of what exactly hit the region Friday night. Let's head over to weather impact meteorologist Gary Frank. Gary?
Yeah, as we continue to look at some of the storm surveys that the National Weather Service continues to do, and we have at least 5, upwards of now 6 tornadoes that have been confirmed, and they're going to continue to pinpoint and find exactly where they are. And then what they're going to look at is a lot of these data points, and I'll follow along one of the ones that impacted a lot of areas here, even into St. Louis County, and that's the Villa Ridge one that Annie has been following for the last couple of days along 44 and Gray Summit. And what they continue to do, and you follow the line, and that's the path that the National Weather Service surveyors go along, and they find out where all these types of storms hit. And what you'll see is there are these little spots where they find damage from either your pictures and videos or their drone footage or when they're on the ground, and that's just in itself why it takes so long. And just looking at this one specifically, that was the EF2 with 130 mile an hour max winds. Obviously many others, and there's a couple, and I'm not going to show all of them here. The one that was near Union, that was an EF1, and of course the one in Rolla, that was an EF2, right? So when we're talking about this, that means higher end EF2 was considerable damage, right? As we even had one further to the south in Iron County of an EF3 damage. That's pretty intense for this area. As the National Weather Service teams continue to survey, we have at least 5 confirmed. They're working on the 6th one, even though there's preliminary damage, and that's from Chesterfield all the way up to Alton. And I'll show you that one here in a little bit. But the survey damage continues here over the next few hours and few days. I don't think you're going to see that come to an end yet. It's 39 right now. It's much colder. We'll talk about what it's like into the overnight hours and why I expect a big rebound tomorrow.
All right, Gary, thanks. The tornado winds may have calmed down in Villa Ridge, but cleanup has only just begun. It's proving to be a massive undertaking about 45 minutes southwest of St. Louis. Families there tell us they barely escaped with their lives on Friday. And new at 10, our Annie Krall is back after spending a 3rd day in Franklin County. Annie.
Mike, first it was the gas stations of Old Highway 100 like Mr. Fuel and BP with power lines snapped in half and live wires on Friday night. Then it was the Burger King in Villa Ridge with people trapped inside. Now the places of devastation are just too many to count after the storm. Tonight we're spotlighting a collection of rental homes on Baker Street for a heroic example of resilience in the town of less than 3,000 people.
Something's going to be figured out. What? I don't know.
That's the reality now in Villa Ridge as David Leaf looks at his master bedroom.
Well, there's our bedroom. You can't get more than about a foot in there.
His face still cut up from blown-in glass during Friday's storm.
And then hail started hitting the window, and I said, okay, pulled the box fan out, closed the window, stood up, and then the window just came and hit me in the side of the face.
It looks like a horrifying movie set on Baker Street. The National Weather Service confirming it was an EF2 tornado that ripped through parts of Villa Ridge, including David's house with his wife of 25 years, Jennifer, their kids, and dogs.
You haven't been through a bombed-out house before?
Bombed out and caved in as their roof collapsed right on top of Jennifer, David, and their children, including their 12-year-old daughter who Jennifer jumped on top of to protect.
There was too much going on to be scary, you know. You just knew stuff was hitting you all over the place, you know. And then coming down on top of you, and you just knew, I knew where the stairs were. I needed to get to the stairs.
After a terrifying night, it's time for Cleanup Sunday from some people who didn't even live in Villa Ridge but saw the news and wanted to help. David and his family continuing to take stock of the damage in the light of day.
Right up there in that tree, probably, 30 feet up, is the neighbor's trampoline.
In stark contrast, several other homes on Baker Street were completely untouched, showcasing how unpredictable this storm was.
Our neighbors probably think we're a little crazy because we were all sitting out here and we were just, you know, praising God we were all alive.
The Leaf family is staying in a Super 8 in Washington until Tuesday thanks to a group of co-workers chipping in. David tells me they wanted to move into a short-term rental until they figure out what's next. If you'd like to assist with that, you can find his email on your screen or at ksdk.com in the As Seen on TV section.
Tonight, the Florissant community is coming together as they start to rebuild from the storms. Today, the city was supposed to hold a St. Patrick's Day festival and parade. City leadership now putting that on hold as they try to get more resources into town to help with the relief effort. However, vendors for the event are now pitching in, providing meals to those who lost their homes. Residents say they can get through this as long as the community sticks together.
I haven't cried like this whole time, but when people are like, how can we help? What can we do? I think that's what gets me so emotional.
You know, it's Florissant strong. I mean, we are strong. We'll rebound from this, and the community will come together, and everybody's going to do everything they can to help each other. That's what we do.
And if you are a Florissant resident and need help, you can call 211 or contact the mayor's office directly at 314-839-7601. Tonight, Missouri Governor Mike Keogh giving us an update on the effort to bring federal relief to Missouri. Governor Keogh says he is expediting the process for the State Emergency Management Agency to prepare a federal disaster declaration request. He's also currently in direct contact with White House and FEMA officials who say they're ready to act as soon as that request comes in. In a statement, the governor says the scale of devastation across our state is staggering. While we grieve the lives of those lost, we are also focused on action, getting power restored, clearing debris, and ensuring our communities have the resources they need to recover.
Coffee, toast, and CPR when breakfast becomes a matter of life or death.
Something came over me and I was like, we've just got to get Dan back.
In my mind, she saved my life.
The short order savior who turned a routine meal into a heartfelt second serving of tomorrow.
In some cases this morning, we started below freezing, and you really felt that, especially if you're still without power. We'll talk about the updates on our power and also look ahead to when you're maybe going to need close to the air conditioning over the next few days.
Making a Difference is sponsored by Midwest Bank Center.
At the Olivet Diner off Olive Boulevard, every order comes with a side of something special. In tonight's Making a Difference report, how a waitress' past career became the perfect recipe when a regular customer's life was suddenly on the line.
Everything tasting great? Perfect.
At the Olivet Diner, the menu offers breakfast and lunch, but the special of the day turned out to be something you can't put a price on. The griddles have been sizzling here since 1958.
I have peach, cherry, butterscotch.
Melinda de Blasi and her husband are only the third owners of this St. Louis area institution where time seems to stand still.
It's an old, original 1950s diner. It's cash only. It's the smash burgers. It's everything that you would envision.
But the real staple on the menu, a sense of belonging.
Would you like a side of spinach as well?
Melinda doesn't just take orders, she takes care of people.
Your kids good?
Treating every customer like family.
We have the best customers in the entire world. In fact, some of our customers have been coming here since 1958.
One of those regulars is Dan Carroll. At 75, he's practically part of the furniture, always ordering the same thing, a number 4. Which is 2 eggs over easy with hash browns.
And either 2 sausage patties or ham slice in sourdough toast.
A breakfast as predictable as the sunrise. But on this particular morning, something happened that no one saw coming.
And I looked at Dan and I said, Dan, more coffee. And he didn't respond, and I looked and he was slumped over.
So Melinda felt his pulse, and he didn't have one.
I have a little nursing history. 15 years ago, I was an ICU nurse. So I guess everything just came back a little.
Richard McLaughlin was sitting at the counter when he heard the urgency in Melinda's voice.
I got up and was heading to the restroom, and all I had heard was Melinda yell my name once and yelled it again.
As Richard called 911, Melinda took control. She eased Dan onto the floor and started compressions.
After a couple more compressions, I got some breaths, some agonal breathing from Dan, which was wonderful.
The paramedics arrived and rushed Dan to the hospital.
You guys good?
And then Melinda did what diner owners do.
Would you like more coffee, Mike?
She picked up the coffee pot and went back to work.
Here you go.
But everyone around her knew they'd witnessed something extraordinary.
I looked at all the customers and they were all crying. They were all crying and they were like, oh my goodness, we watched you save him.
Just a week later, proof of the miracle walked right through the diner's front door once again.
I was really, really lucky that she was here.
When I saw him walking into the door, I started crying. I got teary-eyed. And he walked in and I gave him the biggest hug he's probably ever had.
I hugged her. And said, thank you. Thank you very much. She, you know, it's not lost on me. In my mind, she saved my life.
Doctors told Dan that severe dehydration caused his collapse. Now he's drinking more water and soaking up every extra day.
I think I did what anyone would have done had they had the same knowledge that I did.
Richard, who helped that day, says Melinda is absolutely a hero.
Oh, 100%. That's, you know, the right people in the right place at the right time.
At the Olivet Diner, they still make food the old-fashioned way.
Well, it's good to see you, Dan.
See you later, man.
Please take care of yourself.
I will.
But as their customers know, the most important thing they serve here doesn't come on a plate.
The Olivet Diner has another claim to fame. The album cover for the rock band Head East was shot inside the restaurant back in the 1970s. A reminder, if you know someone making a difference for others, let me know by email at mbush@ksdk.com. All right, meteorologist Gary Frank rejoins us now with that weather impact forecast, and I think people are hoping for a much quieter week, Gary.
Much quieter week, and you'll see a lot less of us in that regard, which is positive news. It's cooling down right now, and of course we had snow this morning in some spots because why wouldn't we after all that, right? And it was all part of the same system, which is pushed out of here and left us with clear sky, and we'll switch to a different wind direction. But for now, it's quiet. You can see that full moon after we had the eclipse the other morning, which was kind of lost in the wayside. Normally we'd be showing you a ton of pictures of the eclipse, but we were talking about severe weather, and that's what we've talked about the last few days, right? But temps just barely above freezing right now in many spots outside of the city. You're going to get into the 20s. You'll see that we're already at 30 in Kirksville, but look at 40, 45, and 50 to the southwest. That's the warmer air that's settling in. So we're going to get there, right? But I do think that we'll still see temperatures fall into the upper 20s for tomorrow morning. It's chilly for sure. So expect really this will be the chilliest day for the next several days. But for tomorrow, I know a lot of people take the day off for tomorrow. The Ancient Order of Hibernians, a Patrick's Day parade in Dogtown. And if you're going to pick a day, especially after the last few days that we've had, this is it. We're going to start off nicely with temps in the mid-40s. And by the time the parade is well on and you're getting off of work, maybe early to meet some of your friends up there, upper 60s, right around 70 degrees. Now, I will say, keep in mind, it's going to be breezy. So for the first part of the day, add that layer just because the breeze is going to be up. We've got a south-southeast breeze at 10 to 15 miles an hour, gust to 25. Those winds will pick up, but they're going to be a key component to keeping us warmer in the afternoon. That south-southwest breeze is going to continue to warm us up. And really for the rest of the day and for the rest of the area, you can expect temperatures right around 70 degrees. Full sunshine, no issue on the way home. A south-southwest breeze at 15 to 25 miles an hour. So that's the start of the week. Now we continue to tap into this warmer air mass, which this is part of the reason why March is the way it is, right? We have cold, we have warm, we have humid air masses, we have dry air masses. They all clash. We get severe weather. This is going to be a much more tranquil week in that regard, but you're going to see a lot of changes in the first couple of days. Very warm Monday, Tuesday, not quite as warm for the second half of Wednesday. You see that colder air come in behind 10, 15 degrees below normal, and that's kind of what we're going to tap into. We'll see another one of these lows that dips into the plain states. The difference is it does not tap into serious Gulf moisture. It does not have the wind field, and it doesn't run into 80-plus degree weather in that same sense. So don't expect severe weather from this. There's a lot less instability, all that kind of stuff. So that's positive news, but it will change our weather. You'll see clouds start off the day. Look how warm it is Tuesday night. You'll see temps in the 60s. I think we only drop down in the upper 50s, right around 60 degrees. For Wednesday, you start off mild, and the second half of the day, I think we warm up, and then we'll see a few showers around. However, notice our temps start to fall behind it, and that's what I think we're going to see the next few days. Just ahead of spring, officially, we can talk about we're in meteorological spring already, March, April, May. But Earth's position, we're going to continue to see that March 20th, 4:01. It's officially spring. In the next 7 days, we'll feel like it a couple of days. But like I said, overall, it feels like spring because of the ups and downs. Windy conditions at 75. We'll drop to 36 here. 53 on Thursday. Slight chances for rain, especially in the overnight hours. Otherwise, no significant changes and certainly no severe weather on the horizon.
Time to go on the move. I'm Paul Cook, your traffic guy from Today in St. Louis. Here we are approaching the warmer months and the big road construction season. The Missouri Department of Transportation anticipates roughly $1.2 billion worth of projects in the St. Louis region. Almost 180 projects will either begin or continue in 2025. So we've got updates for you. Number one on their list is I-55.
So I-55 corridor in South City and South County continues work, and there will continue to be impacts throughout this calendar year.
A big part of this is I-55 south from I-44 all the way to Loughborough, right there by Lowe's and Schnucks. That's where the work started a couple years ago. There hasn't been a northbound exit at Loughborough during that time.
The I-55 bridge renovation project contractor is working to finish the rehab of the northbound bridge over the Union Pacific near River de Pere, and they hope to be able to switch the work onto the southbound bridge in the near future, hopefully in April.
Drivers on I-55 in this area have certainly been dealing with lots of obstacles. Unfortunately, MoDOT tells me this work won't be complete until 2026. Stay safe out there. Paul Cook, 5 on your side.
A national disaster, the severe storm front that hit other states. See how people across the country are being impacted. Tonight, we're getting shocking new video showing how those severe storms damage areas across the country. In Alabama, an entire school bus was tossed onto the roof of a high school by a possible tornado. And officials say it completely destroyed the school's gym. In Mississippi, a camper was flipped over and ripped apart by high winds with a couple inside. Both are expected to be okay. People in both states say they've never seen anything this destructive.
It's like it's not real, you know? You hear about these storms and then you don't really put the feelings behind it until it hits home.
Georgia, Arkansas, and Louisiana are just some of the other states impacted by that storm. Right now, the Salvation Army is out in Arnold assisting anyone they can with storm relief. They'll be delivering food and water throughout the week all across Jefferson County. The group also went to North St. Louis County and Hillsborough yesterday. One Salvation Army spokesperson says that beyond power, food, and water, people in this situation need hope.
This is getting beyond our walls to help people in need. When you're in a building like this, it doesn't matter how many other buildings were affected, that you feel the same intensity of need and intensity of desire for normalcy.
The Salvation Army is also offering emotional and spiritual counseling services for those impacted by the storms. And Gary has one final check of the weather when we come back. After a devastating Friday, Gary, a quiet week would be nice.
Quiet week is coming, I think, overall. And we're going to start off tomorrow with 70 degrees. And I know it's going to feel chilly in the morning, so prepare for that. You will lose the layers very quickly despite the wind. We're in the low 80s Tuesday. Our next chance for rain is very slight on Wednesday, and then it's back to normal. And then we're still going to continue to see those tornado surveys throughout the rest of the week. So more on the way. Meteorologist Jim Castillo has an update in the morning.
And there you have it, 5 on your side at 10. We're always streaming on 5+. Sports Plus is next with Frank Cusimano. Don't forget to start your day with Today in St. Louis.